Alright, I drilled my holes here for the float. I'm going to see if I can grind between the holes without ruining it. Three, two, one, action. Alright, I got my holes drilled for my float area. I'm going to try to grind between them and see if I can do it without damaging the bit. Not bad actually, and yes, I know that wasn't the best way to do it, but if you've got all the proper tools in your garage, that's awesome. And send me your email with your address and I'll come over and use your shit. Alright, moving on. We'll file that out, clean it up. Alright, so we are back, and I already made one of the cans. This will mount down on the carburetor, and I'm going to put a hose up here for the snorkel. But this will enclose the carburetor airtight. So what we're going to do now is make that. So we've got our pattern, and first off, what you're going to want to do is find out how long of material you need and how tall. So I want my can to be 9 inches tall. So what I'm going to do is mark nine inches. Okay. Then I need to know how much material is going to take to wrap around this. The way I'm going to do that is I'm going to start this thing at a certain point. So I'm going to use that point right there, that corner. Okay? I'm going to put it here on the edge, and I'm just going to roll this thing in a straight line. And then I'm going to mark where it stopped. Okay? Now I'm going to measure that, and that is exactly 25 inches, dead on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my scribe. I'm going to get something that's got a very straight edge on it. Get something with a good point on it, or maybe a ballpoint pen. And put that on the 9-inch mark. And I'm going to scribe from the beginning to the 25. There we go. So now I've got a nice straight scribe mark, 9 inches tall, 25 inches long. Now, since this is going to be in the middle, I'm going to have to know where to position this. So I'm going to divide 25 in half, which is 12.5 inches. So I'm going to put a scribe mark right at 12.5. And I've already divided this in half. I've got my center line. So I'm going to put that right there, and I'm going to lay it right on the 9-inch line, and I'm going to scribe around it. There we go. Now I'm going to take my cutters and I can start cutting. Okay, these will do just fine. I mean, they literally go through it pretty easy. Okay, however, I did purchase a Harbor Freight cutter. So I'm going to show you how well that works. And no, I am not sponsored by Harbor Freight. Not sponsored by anybody. I know you guys love all those disclaimers. Ooh, disclaimer, disclaimer. So, you're going to put this on, and you got to pick one side or the other of this tooth. Because if you start here, you're going to cut a 1/4 inch short, and then you're going to have an 8 3/4. So you're going to want to put it on that side. You want to take your time, get right up to the edges. And we're going to end up finish cutting with those shears. So I'm just going to make a few cheap cuts to take some time away from doing that. There we go. There we go. Now I'm staying away from my line. I'm giving me some distance. And that is why you want gloves, because that shit will cut you something fierce. So now, of course, we're just going to cut around our lines, but do not cut this centerpiece, because what we're going to do is just bend that. That's going to reduce how much welding we have to do, things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and do just some fine tuning, finish cutting here. And I'll do that off film, but you get the picture. Going to want to measure out 25 inches on this end, mark it, scribe it, and cut this piece off as straight as we possibly can, because they have to meet up. And if you cut them, they're going to end up like that if you don't cut them straight. So, all right. So we've got our pattern cut out. We've bent the edge up. We're going to roll this in now. The way you do that is with a propane bottle. Okay, I'm just going to set it on here. You're going to get it even. And then you're going to grab with your thumbs down on the bottom here, and you're going to put everything you got into it. It's not very hard, but you're going to keep that propane bottle rolling straight. And it's nothing perfection, just grip it and roll, and roll, and roll, and roll. And you're going to roll until this bottom matches up. Okay? Just put it in there and roll, and roll, and it'll stop on its own. Okay? Then you can take the bottle out, and this is what you'll have. Okay? And I know it's smaller, but it's all you're going to do is grab this, don't cut yourself, and just pull it back out. Just like that. And there you go. Your cylinders should meet up. Okay, so we're in the welding stage. All I did was bent that over, use the propane bottle to roll it. Then I lined up my edges, and I got that absolutely as smooth as I could get there, because that's what's going to keep this all flat when it mounts to there, because you don't want any air leaks. You know, you're going to put a seal on there anyway, but you just want to get that as flat as you can. And then I put a tack there, and then I worked the metal to get it as flat as I could, put a tack, worked it again, and I'm going to put a tack right there. Actually, I can feel a little bit off. I can feel it actually pulling tight with the welder as the heat's pulling it tight. I think what I'm going to do is go ahead right now and get my top together and tack it. Now I'm using super low heat and a little bit higher wire because I don't want to burn through this. It burns through so easy. I got a plate under here with my ground so that I can just move this around on it. Okay, so now that piece is tacked. Work that top a little bit. Tack it. You don't want to tack right on the end, you'll melt that end off. Okay, and then you just start working it smooth along here. And then when you get that done, you're gonna flip it up, push your lid down, trim, do adjustments, whatever, and then just start tacking all the way around there.